Anger. We've all felt it, right? That moment when your patience snaps, when your heart races, and your thoughts blur. It's a raw, powerful emotion that can easily spiral out of control, leaving you saying or doing things you might regret later. But what if I told you that the ancient Stoics had a powerful, timeless solution for managing this very emotion? What if you could take control of your anger for good, not by suppressing it, but by understanding it, reframing it, and ultimately transforming it? In this video, we're going to explore how Stoicism, a philosophy practiced by some of history's greatest minds, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, can help you overcome anger and build lasting emotional resilience. You might think that anger is just something you have to deal with, that it's a part of human nature you can't change. But the Stoics beg to differ. They believed that we have the power to control our emotions, not be slaves to them. This isn't some distant ideal, it's a practical, real-world skill you can start using today. Imagine being able to stay calm in the face of frustration, to respond to insults without a second thought, to transform moments of anger into opportunities for growth. That's the power of Stoicism applied to anger management. Throughout this video, you'll learn actionable steps and exercises to regain control over your emotional state, build resilience, and make peace with your own mind. Whether you're dealing with daily stressors, frustrating people, or the internal battle of unmet expectations, these practices can be your guide. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to shift your mindset, reclaim your peace, and transform anger from a source of pain into a source of strength. Ready to take control of your anger for good? Let's dive in. Topic 1. Understanding anger. What it really is. Anger is a natural emotion, one that everyone has experienced at some point. However, not many of us stop to fully understand what it actually is. When we experience anger, it's easy to get caught up in the rush of emotions, but there's more to it than just feeling mad. Psychologically speaking, anger is a response triggered by a perceived threat or injustice. It can stem from a wide range of stimuli, from a sudden insult to a frustration over unmet expectations. Anger often blinds us, preventing us from acting with clarity and reasoning. This is where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism, at its core, teaches that emotions like anger are not inherently good or bad, but they are responses that can be controlled through reasoning and reflection. By understanding the underlying causes of our anger, we can begin to detach ourselves from it, rather than letting it consume us. Physiologically, anger triggers a flood of hormones. Adrenaline and cortisol surge through the body, preparing us to fight or flee. This response, while evolutionary, is not always useful in our modern world. Anger in small doses might serve us well, but unchecked, it can lead to poor decision-making, damaged relationships, and long-term health issues. It can manifest as clenched fist, rapid heartbeat, or even as a quiet simmering resentment that builds over time. These physical cues, when understood, become a valuable tool. When we start to notice the signs of anger rising, we can take action before it overwhelms us. Now, while anger is natural, Stoicism encourages us to approach it with a mindset of self-control. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, often reflected on how anger clouds our judgment. For him, the key to handling anger was not to suppress it, but to understand why it emerged in the first place. In other words, anger is not a force that controls us. It's something we can examine, challenge, and ultimately overcome through reason. This is the Stoic view of anger, a response that we can transform by simply acknowledging its root causes and applying reason. Recognizing that we are not helpless to our emotions is the first step in the journey of emotional mastery. Transitioning into how we can begin managing anger, we need to dive deeper into Stoic practices. Stoicism doesn't just leave us with the recognition of anger's existence. It provides us with concrete tools and frameworks for managing these emotions effectively. These tools are rooted in some of the most powerful Stoic principles that can help us face life's inevitable challenges with grace and clarity. So, let's now explore the Stoic framework for managing emotions and how we can apply it to our own lives. Topic 2. The Stoic framework for managing emotion. When it comes to managing emotions, Stoicism offers profound wisdom that's as relevant today as it was in ancient times. The core Stoic principles that help manage anger are grounded in virtue, wisdom, and the control over our perceptions. These principles serve as a framework for transforming how we approach emotions, especially challenging ones like anger. Stoicism teaches us that emotions are not inherently bad, but our responses to them are what determine their effect on our lives. The key is not to avoid emotions, but to master them through understanding and control. One of the most crucial aspects of Stoic philosophy is the belief in controlling our perceptions. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, frequently emphasized that events themselves are not the cause of our emotional distress, but our judgments of those events are. When we face a situation that triggers anger, it's not the situation itself that's the problem, it's how we perceive it. This is where Stoic wisdom comes into play. We have the power to change our judgment. By choosing not to see a challenging situation as an injustice or a threat, we can avoid the emotional flood that often accompanies anger. Epictetus advised that we must respond to provocations with calmness, and this advice is powerful. When someone insults us or behaves in a way that triggers anger, the Stoic approach is to pause and reflect rather than react impulsively. The Stoics understood that emotional responses, especially anger, could cloud our judgment and lead to actions we later regret. By exercising self-control in the heat of the moment, we not only prevent harm to ourselves and others, but also cultivate a sense of inner peace that transcends the external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, also offered valuable insights into emotional control. His personal reflections, compiled in his famous work Meditations, reveal his commitment to managing his emotions, particularly anger. For Aurelius, the key to emotional regulation was accepting that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our reactions. He often reminded himself that people act according to their own perceptions and motivations, which might not align with our expectation. When we accept this truth, it becomes easier to let go of anger and act with wisdom and self-control. These Stoic principles can be applied to anger management in everyday life. Imagine being stuck in traffic, and someone cuts you off, causing you to feel frustration and anger. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can pause and reflect on the Stoic idea that the situation itself is neither good nor bad, it's simply an event. What matters is how you respond. By practicing the Stoic principle of controlling your perceptions, you can choose to see the situation as a minor inconvenience rather than an affront to your personal dignity. This shift in perspective allows you to maintain emotional balance and avoid the detrimental effects of anger. As we move forward, it's essential to understand how to recognize the specific triggers that lead to anger. Knowing what sets us off is the first step toward mastering emotional control. By identifying these triggers, we can take proactive steps to manage our emotional responses before they get the best of us. Let's now explore how we can recognize and understand the triggers of anger and, most importantly, how to detach from them using Stoic techniques. Topic 3. Recognizing the triggers. Why do we get angry? To truly manage anger, we first need to recognize what triggers it. Anger doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's a response to specific stimuli. These triggers can range from external events, like a person cutting you off in traffic or receiving harsh criticism, to internal experiences, such as unmet expectations or personal frustration. Understanding the root cause of your anger is crucial because it allows you to take the first step toward emotional regulation. Once you identify what sparks your anger, you have the power to address it more effectively and prevent it from controlling you. Common external triggers of anger include situations where we feel disrespected, misunderstood, or unfairly treated. Think about a time when someone's rude behavior made your blood boil. The situation itself might not have been that severe, but your perception of it, as an insult or attack on your dignity, fueled the anger. On the other hand, internal triggers often stem from our own frustrations, unmet desires, or expectations. Perhaps you've experienced anger when things didn't go according to plan, whether it's at work, in a personal relationship, or even within yourself. These internal triggers often result from the gap between what we expect to happen and what actually happens. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes from unrealistic expectation, and learning to adjust them is key to preventing emotional turmoil. The first step in overcoming anger is awareness. By paying attention to the specific circumstances that lead to feelings of anger, you can begin to see patterns. Keep a mental or physical journal, noting down moments when you feel yourself getting upset. This practice of self-reflection is essential for developing emotional intelligence. By observing these moments, you can begin to pinpoint what exactly about the situation triggered your anger. It could be the way someone spoke to you, the frustration of feeling unheard, or the sense of injustice in the world. Understanding the trigger empowers you to approach future situations with more composure and control. Stoicism teaches us that we are not slaves to our emotional triggers. The key is to detach from the initial emotional response by altering our perceptions. Instead of reacting immediately with anger, the Stoics encourage us to take a step back and view the situation from a broader perspective. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of reacting with immediate frustration, try to see the situation as a common occurrence, one that's out of your control. By shifting your perception of the event, you can prevent yourself from becoming emotionally entangled in it. This is the Stoic approach to detaching from emotional triggers, and it's a powerful tool for managing anger. Now, let's talk about how we can actively observe and analyze these emotional triggers in real time. Developing the ability to pause and reflect in the moment is a crucial part of emotional regulation. You can practice mindfulness techniques to help you stay present and aware of your emotions as they arise. For instance, when you begin to feel anger bubbling up, take a few deep breaths and pause. In this moment of stillness, reflect on the situation without judgment. Ask yourself, what exactly is making me angry right now? Is it the situation itself, or is it my reaction to it? This self-inquiry helps you separate the event from your emotional response, giving you the clarity needed to respond in a calm and measured way. Recognizing the triggers of anger is not a one-time task, but an ongoing process. It requires consistent practice and self-awareness. As we dive deeper into how to reframe our thoughts and shift our perceptions, we will explore the importance of self-reflection and journaling as tools for long-term emotional control. Let's now transition into understanding how reflection can play a transformative role in reshaping our emotional responses. Topic 4. The role of reflection. How to reframe your thoughts. Self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools in the Stoic arsenal for managing emotions, especially anger. It's about stepping back, looking at your emotional reactions from a distance, and considering them with clarity and insight. This process is not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them, questioning them, and ultimately reshaping them. Reflection allows us to separate ourselves from our initial emotional responses, enabling us to see the bigger picture and make more reasoned choices about how to act. It's through this practice that we can reframe our thoughts and, by extension, our emotional experiences. The true power of self-reflection lies in its ability to transform reactive anger into measured responses. In the Stoic tradition, self-reflection often takes the form of journaling. This is where you take time each day to write down your thoughts, feelings, and reactions to various situations. Marcus Aurelius, for example, would reflect on his day, asking himself how he could have responded better and what lessons he could take from his experiences. His journals were a way for him to hold himself accountable and to refine his understanding of Stoic principles. This practice of journaling helps you become more aware of your thoughts, enabling you to identify patterns in your emotional reaction. Over time, this awareness gives you the power to change how you respond to situations that would normally trigger anger. The act of journaling isn't just about documenting the events of your day. It's about analyzing your emotional reactions and learning from them. By reflecting on these moments, you begin to see what triggers your anger and why. You might realize that you get angry in certain social situations, or when your expectations aren't met. By acknowledging these triggers, you can start to reframe them in a way that takes away their power. This self-reflection process doesn't happen overnight. It's about consistently looking at your emotions from an objective standpoint and challenging the assumptions that lead to anger. Reframing your thoughts is about changing the way you view a situation. For instance, when faced with a challenging interaction that would usually trigger anger, try to shift your perspective. Instead of viewing the situation as a personal attack, consider it as an opportunity for growth or a test of your emotional control. By adjusting your interpretation of the situation, you can change your emotional response. This is the essence of cognitive reframing, taking the same situation and seeing it from a different angle to produce a more measured, calm reaction. This Stoic practice is a key step in managing anger, as it shifts the focus from the external event to how you choose to respond to it. Imagine a scenario where you're having a heated conversation with a colleague. Perhaps they've said something that strikes you the wrong way, and anger starts to rise. Instead of immediately responding with irritation, you can pause, take a breath, and mentally reframe the situation. Perhaps they didn't intend to upset you, but were simply expressing their own frustration. By reframing your perception of the situation, you create space for a more balanced reaction. Instead of reacting impulsively with anger, you are able to respond with understanding and composure. This rethinking process can transform your response, making it more aligned with your values rather than a knee-jerk emotional reaction. In practice, you can use journaling to reframe negative thoughts. Let's say you're feeling anger after a confrontation with a colleague. In your journal, you might write, "I feel disrespected by what they said to me," but then you can reframe that thought. They may not have intended to disrespect me. Perhaps they were having a bad day, and I can choose to let it go. By actively engaging in this kind of thought reframing, you start to create new mental habits that support emotional control. Over time, these mental habits become more automatic. Instead of reacting emotionally in the moment, your first instinct becomes to pause, reflect, and adjust your thoughts. One of the most powerful benefits of reflection is that it helps you understand the root causes of your anger. Instead of simply reacting in the moment, reflection allows you to dig deeper into your emotions and uncover the beliefs, expectations, and past experiences that shape your reactions. For example, if you consistently get angry when someone interrupts you in conversation, self-reflection might help you understand that this trigger is linked to a deeper fear of not being heard or respected. By recognizing this underlying belief, you can challenge it and choose a more measured response in the future. This level of introspection allows you to get to the heart of the emotional trigger. Rather than blaming others for your anger, you learn to recognize your own part in creating that emotional response. This realization gives you the power to choose differently in the future. It also leads to greater emotional intelligence, as you become more attuned to your own feelings and how they are shaped by your thoughts. Instead of being a slave to your emotion, you develop the ability to step back, reflect, and respond with awareness and intention. Encouraging daily self-reflection is essential for long-term emotional control. This practice helps build emotional resilience by fostering a mindset of continuous growth. It's not just about reacting to anger in the moment, it's about preparing yourself to face challenges with a calm and thoughtful approach. This kind of emotional preparedness is a key component of mental resilience. As you continue to reflect and reframe, you begin to shift your entire approach to emotions, making it easier to face life's challenges with stoic calmness. The more you reflect, the less power anger will have over you. As we move on to discuss practical Stoic exercises, we'll see how these principles of reflection and reframing can be put into action. Stoic exercises are tools that allow you to actively practice self-control and emotional regulation. These exercises provide the framework you need to implement the lessons you learn through self-reflection and journaling. Let's explore these exercises and how they can help you manage anger in real time, giving you the tools to practice emotional control every day. Topic 5. Practical Stoic exercises to control anger. One of the most powerful ways to manage anger is through the consistent practice of Stoic exercises. These exercises aren't just philosophical musings, they are actionable tools designed to help you control your emotions in real time. They allow you to apply Stoic wisdom to everyday situations so that you can maintain calm and composure, no matter what life throws your way. The key to these exercises is that they don't just focus on controlling the emotion after it arises. They focus on reshaping your response before the anger even has a chance to take hold. One Stoic exercise that's particularly effective in managing anger is the premeditation of adversity. This practice involves mentally preparing yourself for potential challenges before they happen. In other words, you anticipate difficulties and imagine how you will react to them. When you mentally rehearse how you will respond to anger-inducing situations, you are more likely to react with calmness and wisdom when those situations actually arise. For example, before you head into a difficult meeting where tensions may run high, you could practice the premeditation of adversity by imagining how you'll respond to potential provocations. Will you remain calm? Will you take a deep breath and let go of the need to react impulsively? This mental preparation primes your mind to respond in a Stoic manner, making it much easier to stay in control. Another crucial Stoic exercise is the dichotomy of control. This principle teaches you to focus only on what you can control and to let go of what you cannot. Often, anger arises when we feel powerless or frustrated by circumstances that are beyond our control. By recognizing that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond, we are able to let go of anger more easily. In practical terms, this might look like letting go of frustration when someone cuts you off in traffic. The situation is out of your control, but your reaction is entirely within your control. When you practice this dichotomy, it helps you cultivate emotional resilience, allowing you to face challenges with a sense of peace rather than frustration. Another effective Stoic practice for managing anger is negative visualization. This involves imagining the worst-case scenario and contemplating how you would respond to it. It may seem counterintuitive, but negative visualization helps reduce the impact of anger by training your mind to accept adversity before it even occurs. By mentally rehearsing difficult situations, you prepare yourself to handle them with grace, reducing the likelihood of being overwhelmed by negative emotion. For example, if you're afraid of being criticized, you might practice imagining how you would respond if someone harshly criticized you. Would you get angry and defensive, or would you calmly accept the feedback and learn from it? This exercise helps you reframe your responses and take control of your emotional state. The beauty of Stoic exercises is that they don't require a lot of time or effort, but they have a profound impact on your emotional control. By incorporating these practices into your daily routine, you gradually build the mental toughness needed to handle anger without letting it control you. Each time you use one of these exercises, you reinforce the Stoic mindset of emotional regulation. Over time, this consistent practice helps you develop a deeper sense of emotional resilience, making it easier to stay calm in stressful situations. These exercises are most effective when practiced regularly. It's not about mastering anger management overnight, but rather building the habit of responding to challenges with emotional control. Just as physical exercise strengthens the body, these Stoic exercises strengthen the mind, helping you develop the emotional strength needed to navigate life's challenges. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to manage anger before it even arises. As we move into the next section, we'll explore how mindfulness and breathing techniques can complement these Stoic exercises, further enhancing your ability to stay calm and composed in the face of anger. These techniques provide an immediate, accessible way to regain control when emotions begin to flare up. Let's now dive into how mindfulness and breathing exercises can work hand in hand with Stoic practices. Topic 6. Mindfulness and breathing techniques. Mindfulness and breathing techniques are incredibly effective tools that complement the Stoic exercises we've already discussed. While Stoicism provides a mental framework for managing anger, mindfulness and breathing exercises help you take immediate control of your emotional state in the heat of the moment. These techniques are simple, accessible, and incredibly powerful, making them valuable practices for anyone looking to master their emotion. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. It involves observing your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations as they arise, and acknowledging them without becoming overwhelmed or reactive. When anger starts to bubble up, mindfulness helps you pause and observe your feelings rather than automatically reacting. By noticing the physical sensations associated with anger, tightness in the chest, a quickened heartbeat, clenched fists, you can recognize that anger is beginning to take hold before it spirals out of control. This awareness is the first step in managing your emotional response. Breathing techniques are one of the simplest yet most effective ways to calm the body and mind. When we get angry, our breathing often becomes shallow and rapid, which only intensifies the feeling of frustration. By consciously slowing your breath and focusing on deep, controlled inhales and exhales, you can activate the body's relaxation response. This helps to counteract the physiological effects of anger and restore a sense of calm. One effective technique is the 4-7-8 breath. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 7 seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. This simple practice helps regulate your nervous system, reducing the intensity of your emotions and giving you a moment to collect yourself before reacting. Incorporating mindfulness and breathing exercises into your daily routine helps create a foundation of emotional awareness and control. These practices don't just work in moments of anger, they help you build resilience over time, making it easier to stay calm in any situation. Mindfulness allows you to observe your emotions with curiosity, instead of judgment, helping you detach from them rather than becoming engulfed by them. By combining mindfulness with Stoic practices, such as the premeditation of adversity and the dichotomy of control, you create a comprehensive approach to emotional regulation that strengthens both your mental and physical resilience. For example, if you feel your anger rising during a difficult conversation, you can use mindfulness to become aware of the physiological signs of anger. Perhaps your heart rate increases or your breath becomes shallow. At this point, you can use the 4-7-8 breathing technique to calm your body. Then, applying Stoic principles, you can reframe the situation by asking yourself whether the event is truly within your control, or if it's something you should simply accept and move forward from. This combination of mindfulness, breathing, and Stoic wisdom allows you to transform your response to anger in real time, keeping you grounded and in control. The great thing about these techniques is their accessibility. You don't need any special equipment or a lot of time to practice them. You can integrate mindfulness and breathing exercises into your daily life, whether you're at work, at home, or in the midst of a stressful situation. By making these practices a regular part of your routine, you build a toolkit of emotional regulation strategies that are available to you at any moment. As we continue to build emotional resilience, it's essential to remember that emotional control is not a destination but a journey. It requires consistent practice and patience. Over time, these techniques and Stoic principles become second nature, enabling you to face life's challenges with calmness and clarity. Let's now dive into the long-term benefits of mastering anger and emotional resilience, and how this process contributes to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Topic 7. Building emotional resilience over time. Building emotional resilience is not an overnight process, but a gradual development that occurs through consistent practice and commitment. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to face challenges without being overwhelmed by negative emotions, and to maintain a sense of calm and clarity no matter what life throws at you. Mastering anger is one of the key components of building this resilience, but it goes beyond just managing one emotion. It's about cultivating a mindset that is prepared for all of life's difficulties, big or small. One of the greatest benefits of mastering emotional control over time is that it leads to greater mental well-being. When you can manage your emotions, you begin to free yourself from the constant turmoil of reactive feelings. Instead of being at the mercy of your emotional impulses, you gain the ability to respond thoughtfully and with wisdom. This is the core of Stoic philosophy, to train yourself to react to events with reason and self-control, rather than being driven by fleeting emotion. By building emotional resilience, you create a foundation of peace that supports you in every area of your life, from your personal relationships to your work and beyond. As you practice emotional regulation through Stoic exercises, mindfulness, and breathing techniques, you start to notice small shifts in your reactions to stress and anger. Initially, It may feel like a struggle to maintain control in difficult situations, but with time, the responses become more automatic. The key is consistency. By regularly practicing Stoic principles and emotional control, you build the mental toughness needed to stay composed in even the most challenging circumstances. This consistent practice also strengthens your emotional intelligence, helping you understand not only your own emotions, but also the emotions of others, which enhances your ability to navigate social situations and resolve conflicts with ease. In addition to emotional benefits, building resilience improves your overall quality of life. When you're no longer controlled by anger or other negative emotion, you can focus more on the things that truly matter: your goals, your relationships, and your personal growth. Emotional resilience empowers you to pursue these things with clarity and determination. It frees you from the distractions of anger, frustration, and stress, allowing you to live a more fulfilling life. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that a well-trained mind, one that is not easily disturbed by external events, is the key to a peaceful and meaningful existence. As you continue to build emotional resilience, remember that it is a lifelong journey. You will face challenges and setbacks along the way, but each one is an opportunity for growth. The Stoic approach is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about becoming a little bit stronger, a little bit calmer, and a little bit wiser each day. This is the path to true emotional strength and mental resilience. With each Stoic practice you adopt, you're not just managing your anger, you're building a mindset that allows you to face all of life's challenges with grace and wisdom. As we move on to wrap up this journey of emotional control, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come and how much more you can grow. True resilience is cultivated over time, and every step you take brings you closer to the peaceful, empowered life that the Stoics envisioned. Now that we've explored how Stoicism can help us manage anger and build emotional resilience, it's time to take action. The principles, exercises, and techniques we've discussed today are not just abstract concepts. They are practical tools you can start using right now to transform your relationship with anger and improve your emotional well-being. But here's the thing. It's up to you to put them into practice. How will you respond the next time anger tries to take control? Will you let it dictate your actions, or will you pause, reflect, and choose a more thoughtful, Stoic approach? Remember, emotional control is a skill that takes time and consistent practice, but every small step you take brings you closer to the calm and clarity that Stoicism promises. I want to encourage you to start applying what you've learned today. Whether it's using mindfulness to pause before reacting, practicing Stoic exercises like the premeditation of adversity, or journaling to reflect on your emotional triggers, each practice brings you closer to mastering your emotion. Before you go, don't forget to take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could benefit from this wisdom. If you found value in these teachings, sharing them could help others take control of their anger and live a more resilient, peaceful life too. And don't forget to leave a comment. I'd love to hear how you plan to apply Stoic principles in your own life. Together, let's continue this journey toward emotional strength and personal growth. Stay calm, stay resilient, and remember that your mind, your thoughts, and your reactions are yours to control.